Hello there, Buddha Z here, coming here to not want to explain what I don't want to explain. Hold on. Now I read ahead on this poem. I'm trying to do that with each of these now so I don't get so many surprises. Although it's fun to just come at them cold. This one is 3 pages. And my pages are short. Remember, these are little 6x9s. And I don't even fill up the whole page, and I got big font. So remember that when I say how many pages. Okay, anyway, point being is you can fit 4 paragraphs usually on a page, and that's it. It's always a challenge to take reality and turn it into a story, turn it into a book. But it's even more of a challenge sometimes to take a story and turn it into a poem. It takes a little extra skill, a little more difficulty. And this poem is telling a story, and I don't know if you'll get it. And it's a story I didn't want to tell. A story I don't like telling. It's a story I didn't ever want to tell. But just trying to tell the story digs a hole. Let me just tell the poem, and then we'll leave it at that. And then maybe if I ever catch me at an open forum or a book signing or an interview, you can ask me about this more. Because I got way too much to say about this and nothing I want to say. Here we go. Let's just get this poem done and let me run away. What am I going to explain? I'm going to explain how some people are darn right dangerous. They're not only disgusting and self-destructive, but they're destructive to others, and they're just... But I don't want any harm to come to this person. But until he kind of threatens me. But anyway, the point being is, it's not like I think punishment or. Like I said, everything I say is going to dig a hole here. Let's just leave it at that. Let's do the poem and walk away. Here we go. Liars are losers. I'm looking at my computer. I'm supposed to be reading out of my book. There, maybe. Father's Day. Liars are losers. Here we go. All right. These are ugly memories. Ugly. Man, you say, well, that's a problem when you don't write about how beautiful all the flowers are. Sometimes you write about how ugly something else is. Here we go. Liars are losers. Liars are losers, and losers are liars. Otherwise, they would improve. Those who deny their judgment and deny their begrudgment are emphatic that they cannot move. It is everyone else whose advice they foretell will not improve them. Their surrender is unbudged. A greater world is foretold. Now, I actually misspelled it because it's the way it was spelled on a flyer. I'm going to kind of reference here. It's something that was taped up to basically scare all the citizens and people who live there and homeless people who are sharing that area. So anyway, he put up this manifesto, I guess you could, but he spelled the word greater, Grater. There was a couple of misspellings. But anyway, point, I just wanted to make sure, you can't read this on paper, so you can't see that word. Where is it? It's right above my finger. Okay. So sometimes I'm just kind of quoting his misspelling. All right, here we go. Sorry for the explanation, but maybe that'll help you out. In fact, maybe it'll help if I just set the scene. I don't want to, but it really would help. I spent 1 year in a homeless shelter, and I wrote a book called Coyote Graveyard NoHo during that year. So you got to get that book. That's I'll read it in one of my podcasts. I got it. It's so much fun. I look forward to reading the poetry in that podcast. That poetry is hilarious, absolutely hilarious. But anyway, point being is, while I was in that homeless shelter, well, anyway, you can see pictures of me and my cat. There was a street that went away from the shelter, and it was a cul-de-sac, so it didn't get much traffic except for people who were coming there, and a daycare. But anyway, the point being is, this is where I would park, and I'd walk that extra block so that I could be down there at the end and away from all the people at the shelter and have some privacy and let my cat run around there. And I spent a year there. think I parked there the entire year. Sometimes I would park way over on the street, but that was for a brief period. No, I was, anyway, so I'm in that cul-de-sac, and so anyway, I'm parking there. Well, down at the end of that cul-de-sac is a guy who's living in a tent, and they won't let him in the homeless shelter because he's a drug addict and very, very, very violent. Very violent. And he's a bodybuilder, which is weird because he's also he dresses in women's clothing and gives blowjobs for money. So anyway, so he's down here at the end of the street, and I'm parking sometimes within feet of his tent, inches, and anyway, I had altercations with the guy. Let's leave it at that. Okay, so you got the setup. I'm down there. My cat stays in the car while I stay in the room all night. And then I come and feed my cat in the morning and hang out with him or go places to the library and come back and sometimes have dinner there and then spend the night in the homeless shelter. And did that for one entire year, almost to the day. So anyway, bringing back all these memories. Let's leave it at that. I mean, a lot more I can tell, obviously. Okay, so that's this guy. This is his note. A greater world is foretold. He's doing all this apocalyptic, rapture stuff too. So he's expecting all this death and destruction right now. So anyway, a greater world is foretold as the female message being sold explains how you, the judger, will be judged. There's a paper taped to the fence near the nursery school entrance, near the gray erected tent. Somewhere else, no one would care, but despite the note that he pinned there, his tent is blocking the pavement. The entire sidewalk. The note strongly decrees that no one should judge friends or enemies by sex, size, color, and some other stuff. But to know their world, they declare, is greater, requires judgment, of which they're a hater. So they can't possibly know anything or enough. Without judgment, how do you know what's easy or tough? So he's basically saying you can't judge anything. I mean, I'm not saying it makes sense. But anyway, this is the warming up for the battle. I don't know how well I decry that, but I can still picture that machete in my face. So that'll last me a lifetime. If you can't judge hot from cold, if you can't judge young from old, your ignorance is a bland, blind, stupid life. So it's me defending judgment. Don't judge your partners. Don't judge what harms you, marriage, or pleases your wife. That's it. I won't go farther. Not even cynically. I shouldn't try to explain a fallacy, because you can't change a liar, and a loser is a winner when they're free. When you choose to lose by eliminating the rules, there's no sense arguing with suicidal fools. With cigarette in hand, she must clearly understand, without judging their perverted desire. As they size me up and hold out their cup, I think they're judging me. Do you have a cigarette? No, I don't smoke. Do you have a lighter? Looks like I told here. There's a note at the end of this, written about the transgender homeless guy with a machete at the end of the cul-de-sac where I parked near NoHo Shelter. He's a bodybuilder selling blowjobs, doing crack between push-ups. He cut off his cock with a knife. We had several altercations, and he has threatened my life. I spared him. Gladly. I'd rather have him as just a bad memory as opposed to something on my record. Sheesh. But oh man. Okay, good. No, I didn't convey all the things that happened in the one situation that really, I kind of took it to the end. After that, he never got close to me again. Never. All right. So anyway, Buddha's getting out of here. See you later.